Hello, I think. Hello? 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 Queco? Harand? Janik? Ouija? Harand? Daz? Connor? Hello, hello, hello. Morning, evening, etc., etc. Here we are, Wednesday. I think. Yes. Exciting. Do some C++. I hope. Plan for today is I want to finish moving all of the resources that we have into the TLV blob. I think there's a few we're missing. I don't think it has the shaders. There might be something else. So everything, the idea is that everything should be self-contained in one file. Modify the entry point so that it just loads that file. Doesn't have to. It can pull everything from that file. Doesn't have to read anything else from disk. Update our miserable packing code so that the resource gets bundled with the executable, so that we have a zip with the executable and the resource. I'm going to eventually embed the resource into the executable, but probably not today. Then compression. See if we can get to that point today. Okay, so we're going to try and do that. So update some TLV stuff and then do some compression, decompression, and I think that'll be about it. Okay, so what resources are we missing? I think just, let me press the button. Let me go figure out what we're missing. I can't remember. There's the Lua files as well, so those need to be embedded in. We've got the resource cache, which takes the root. So what comes out of... Brief voyage of discovery for us all as I try and remember everything we've written before, because I cannot remember how any of this works. So I guess anything that... here you go. TLV file, resource loader.resource. So ideally that should be the only thing that we load. Everything else doing a .load needs to go into the TLV, and then I think we might be able to slowly phase out the resource loader, and its entire job should be just to go and find the TLV blob. That should be its entire raison d'etre. So that's what we got, like sort of like resource loader.load. It's basically the frag. It's the shaders. So where do we load the Lua files from then? Called it loader.load. Okay, fine. Let's just check to see if there's anything else. There's a loader.load the Lua level. Okay, fine. So that's all we need to do. So those are all strings. So I was looking at this, I was thinking about this earlier. I don't think we need to introduce a new TLV type. Okay. They do just be strings. There's no additional information we need to encode within them. So I don't think we get anything by differentiating them at this level. Thoughts? Well, I kind of made up my mind, but I'll give the illusion of free will to everyone. Cool, right, let's do it. So we probably need to go to, where's our like resource? I want to try and load the words. Right, let me start again. We have the resource packer, okay? I think what I want to do with this is also integrate this into CMake so that it creates the resource target for us, and then maybe only rebuilds it when we ask it to. Do I abuse context expert? Like, I use it where I think it's appropriate, so therefore I don't think it's abuse, but you could say some of the templating stuff we've done is abuse. It's hard to say. It's a very subjective term. Cool. Well, I might need that because I think I want to create like a target for the new file. Yeah, exactly. And then make the executable a dependency, have that target be a dependency on the executable. So when you rebuild the executable, it rebuilds it. Like I want to automate this. So I can literally just check out something, do CMake build, CMake pack, and it all just works. That's the aim, right? We should be able to just blow everything away, CMake build, CPack, and we have an exe with both of them in. That's the end. That's the end goal. I think we'll do that first, and then we maybe might do compression afterwards. Because last Sunday, like Jesus, CPack, bit of CMake work, in and out, 20 minutes. 2 hours later. Speaking of abuse, I do think I know what the next logging style adventure will be, where sort of my gratuitous self-indulgence into a bit of interesting C++, but we'll discuss that at the end. Okay. Also, this should use the logging code as well. There's no reason this should be using println. So I think we can probably tidy this up a little bit. So let's see if we can bring in... We've already got log. So let's start with just replacing our std printlns with log infos. This should be a pretty straight... oh, this is not in the game, in the namespace, isn't it? So that should be a pretty straight... should be a nice and easy one. Zeros, hello. I mean, that's like literally, I don't think that's abuse. I think that's literally the point of const expr, is to just get the compiler to do as much as possible. I guess it's not already a target. Okay, fine. So I guess the first thing is, in order to build this, do I need to make this a dependency on this? So how do I make target and on another? Someone's done a compile time ray tracer, which is absolutely fascinating, because when the program is finished compiling, you are just left with an array of pixel values with the rendered image, because it's all done in the compiler. So it takes ages to compile. Once it's compiled, you're literally just left with the array of the final result, which I think is pretty cool. Add dependencies. So do I want to do add dependencies game resource packer? Why have I just not saved it? Why is it not rebuilding? I'm confused. Why is this not working? Yes, super up for game preservation. I think it's, you know, my mind is like, a lot of old games form like a core part of people's childhood. So I think they should always be able to go and revisit those memories. And even through rose-tinted glasses, you know, you still want to be able to play those old games. Okay, I guess that worked. Update. Not really a lot of code yet, so let's sack all that off and get on with this. This could probably do with splitting out into some functions as well at some point. I'm not too fussed about that. So what do? We create our TLV writer, we go through everything in a directory, so we point it at the assets directory, which makes sense. I want to keep that. It's like, hey, can you TLVerize this? And then And then we search, then we filter on the extension. Basically, say if it's this, do this. So if this is object file, we do this. Then we support a multitude of. What's ext when it's at home? Image extension. Okay, so we support ping and JPEGs. So if that, else that. So this one. Else if ext what am I? That has the dot. I remember us getting tripped up with this before. Else if ext equals frag. Frag or vert. We can reuse what we've already got here. So image extensions equals that. Shader extensions equals, because there's no, as far as I'm aware, there's no like standard shader extensions. These are, I picked these because I think they're common, but I don't think that's anyway standardized. So I've also seen like .gsl, .hsl, .msl, that kind of thing. There's very little, I would say by and large, you probably don't need to be writing a lot of your own SIMD code. Most compilers will be good enough to give you kind of what you want. I know we're getting std SIMD and maybe the options to optimize that. I know someone who's worked on the std SIMD paper or something parallel to that, and when I was chatting with him, he basically said, if your compiler can do SIMD, there's no point hand rolling it because it will probably be better than you could write. It's the situations where the compiler doesn't have it, can't maybe vectorize it, that you might want to reach for it, but I don't think I've ever had to write my own SIMD code, like ever. Image extensions contains else if shader extensions dot contains ext. Then we're gonna do, I can't remember how any of this works. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm sure like it's always a case where you might need to hand roll it, but I mean, I've not had to do it, not yet anyway. Again, maybe you want to get something that your compiler doesn't support. If you had like an old compiler and you wanted whatever it is, SIMD AVX 512 or whatever it is. Okay, so I should be able to just read the file in. We have a file reader, don't we? Is this not a thing that we've written? I should be able to do const auto shader file equals game file game path game file creation code open. Oh no, that's the default. Okay, fine. So we should be able to just do that, and then read it. We get a string view to it, so I think we can then do. Oh, actually, that's a good point. So I don't think our strings have. Do our strings have names? I think we do need a unique type because we need to be able to search for it by name, right? If I just we could iterate through this, right? Because we have an iterator, and we could be like, oh yeah, I'll get a string out of it. It's a pretty sweet string, but we have no idea what. Yeah, but what I'm saying is there's no way of encoding that in the TLV at the moment. We can just encode raw data, right? We're like, this is a byte, this is an array, this is a string. But what's to differentiate the vertex shader string from the fragment shader string, from a Lua string, from some configuration string that we need in the future? That's why I think we do need to introduce a new type, which is a compound type, or whatever I call them. I think I call them compound types, like here, which uses ones here. So it'll have two strings in it, a name and the data, and then we can search for this. Right, that's why we have this like is mesh and is texture. You can query for these. Like, hey, is this a whatever? But what I'm saying is, right, so the type length value will store, like, say I want to encode the vertex shader, it will put in 0, we'll put in 1, then the length of bytes, and then the bytes. But as I'm iterating through it, how do I know that those bytes represent a shader? I just know that there's a string there. I have no contextual information about what that string is, which is why we added compound types, which allow us to say have a name. So if we go to the TLV writer, writer, and then if we go down to one of these composite types, when we write a mesh out, we encode a name, the vertices, and then the indices, and then we give the whole thing the type of mesh data. Yeah, but I think basically I'm going to have to do this anyway, right? You're right. You're going to have to encode 2 entries. So I feel if I do it as a composite type, I get a little bit more semantics out of it, and then I can just search for those easier. And I think it make the iteration slightly easier. Let's give it a go, okay? Because I think I want like file. All right. So this is a text file because we might have a binary file. Let's have a text file that we put in here, and this will include the name and so we'll have auto, God, it's so long since I've looked at any of this, text file data const. Probably should be a struct. Is there anything I can abuse here? That's a mapped file. I just wonder if I could return like this file object, so I could literally like a thing that looks like a file pops out the TLV. That'd be pretty sweet, but I don't think it's possible without massively refactoring this, because I don't know how you would. Sorry, my mug's in the way. I don't know how you would synthesize this from a buffer array. Because there's no file to map in. I don't know if you can create like a fake mapping or mapping, because like in Linux you could still just use mmap without giving it a backed file, and you'd still get back the same primitives, which means you could munmap it at the end. I don't know if I could get something that wasn't a file that I could treat like a file, that I could still unmap view a file at the end. Where are we reading vector strings? So I think I'm getting a bit too attached to this. I think I just need to make some progress. So let's do. I feel like I should introduce a new type, but I don't really want to pollute this, but I think there might not be any better place for it. So let's do struct text file entry. Call it text file, although that might get confusing later. So I reserve the right to change that. So this would have a std string name and a std string contents. data. We haven't had data.data in a while. So this could then return text file. Okay. So now in order to write one, we will just take in this and encode it, and then we'll get it out the other end. So then we can do something like, why do I have isMesh as opposed, what does isMesh do, and why do I have it rather than just checking the type tag? I think that's a convenience thing. I think rather than having to check the type and then the following entrance name, I think I do it all in one go, which is why I want to do it with the file. This will all make sense in a minute. It'll all make sense in a minute. Or at least hopefully it makes sense to someone, because I'm not sure if it's going to make sense to me. isMesh. So we check that the type is mesh data. We then construct a reader around the value data. And then we see, yes, that's it. Is the next thing a string? Yeah, okay. Okay, right. So then we can do auto is text file, right? Third string view name const bool, right? And then I don't think that needs to be data. I think that can just be text file. Okay, right. Let's copy mesh. We had a horrific bug where I copy and pasted a load of TLV code once. It took me ages to fix it, so I'm going to absolutely do the same again now. Just because it's been quite some time since I've looked at this. Okay, text file. Oh my goodness, not that. Okay, right. I think we're there. I think we're cooking. Did I use value for the others? Oh, I did use value. Good spot. Good spot. Glad someone's paying attention, because I'm not. Okay, so if it's not, so ensure it's the file type. Again, we got quite a wide contract on this because it's potentially user data, so I don't trust it. So I'm going to ensure everything. Okay, so when we're reading it, we're going to basically read two strings. Okay, first member is not a string, and then we want to do how do I constructed a reader? That's it, because the composite entries are themselves another TLV under the hood. That's it, I remember now. So we construct another reader around the remaining data, the value of the, so this V value is in fact another TLV. Yes, I remember now. People have mentioned this before, and I've tried to play around with the settings, and I made an absolute pig's ear of it, and it was infinitely worse. So I'm not an audio engineer, so it probably is what it is for now. yeah, it was all over the place. I think like I want a lower noise gate or a bigger, like a smaller gate, or pass like I don't know, pass through the eye of a needle or something. I really don't understand. Okay, so we want to read we want to read two strings. So in fact, actually, isn't that just something like const auto name equals reader dot hang on, reader cursor. How's any of this work? Here you go. Wait, right. Of course, it's this. And then advance that, and then data is that. And then we ensure we reach the end of it, and then we should be able to just return name data. And then add this to our print thing. So is that file, text file. I knew I spent all this time setting up all this infrastructure for a reason. I want to do what? So I don't need to check these because I believe this does the check internally. Again, this is the whole point of using the composite types is they are you build it up from the other primitives. The only reason I check it here is because I never actually read it. I don't, in order to construct the mesh data, I don't actually need the first string in here because it's the name and that's not part of the resultant type. So here I check it manually, whereas here I get the check for free by just observing it. So Schrodinger's error checking. Do I have any tips for organization and keeping focused? So I do struggle with context switching, so I don't. Maybe I give the sort of allure of that, but it's absolutely I struggle with it. It's just takes time to get into the swing of things. I do find trying to focus, try and cut down the distractions and try and allocate time to work on one task at a time. I'm kind of okay at multitasking, but I prefer just to sit down and work on one thing. So at the moment it's a great example because I'm up to here in my head. Almost all my brain space is being occupied by the next video because I'm so close to getting it done. Like the technical side of it is so close, and it's literally all I can think about. So I'm sort of having to force myself to put that to a side so I can do this because I enjoy this. But then after this stream, I'll be like, man, I really want to write some more game, OpenGL or whatever, C++, and then that'll take up a lot of my headspace. And then I'll, it's just practice really. I don't have any other great sage words of wisdom. Someone recommended the Pomodoro technique. I've tried that before. I think it's okay. If it works for you, it works for you. Sorry, yeah. But also, again, a large part of my brain space has been occupied by the next video at the moment. Oh, so close, so close. But that's not what we're here to do today. Okay, so read that. Texture TLB is too large. That's wrong. That should be... Oh, I think there's a typo up in the other one as well. So text file TLV is too long. And then copy and paste error. Mesh data TLV It's too large. Too much going on. And then I need the is text file. So this will check, is it text file? Construct the reader, get the thing, read the first thing off, and again, so it's basically just a subset of the getting all the data, right? It's just going to get the first element, which is the name, and then say, is this name true? And again, this will check if it's not a string or not. What do you think should happen if two structs are each other's data members? Is that a situation you would want to allow you? Because that. Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the idea. Yeah, aren't they self-referential at that point? Because one will include the size of the other, I think if you can catch that compile time, and if you consider it to be an error and you can catch a compile time, you're winning. Why can I not just like turn str here? Anyway, whatever. Don't care. Okay, so then we need to go to the TLV writer, and then from here we should be able to auto write std string view name std string view data. Again, like the other composite types, the writer takes the individual components rather than expecting you to have already constructed whatever the thing on the other side is. I don't know whether that's right or wrong, but it is what we got. So this is going to be TLV writer okay, so now we should be able to do auto writer equals TLV writer dot write name. So this is the inner data. Writer dot write data. Okay, so this is the full binary data for the entry of the top level file data, which is a composite type. In other words, so value. I did a short on using the word yield to signify I want to return the inner vector of some data and clear it out. A surprising amount of pushback on that. I did not think that would be my most controversial take. TLV type text file const auto length equal. I'm just typing this out again just to remind myself how this bit works. Value dot size, and then write entry, which is a helper function we have, but to the buffer type length value. Nailed it. Okay, so I believe this just at the top here just does the the raw writing bytes for the type, the length, and the value. So that should construct everything. Yes, yield also meaning either coroutines or like thread yielding, cooperative, whatever it is. How do I feel about templates in C++? I like templates in C++. I'm a big fan. I think we should use them more. I mean, yes, they're abused. Yes, the template, yes, the error messages are horrific. Yes, they are hard to reason about, but you end up with some. I think if you get it right with a little bit of metaprogramming, you get some nice code. I think one of the best examples we have that we've done so far is someone's redeemed a highlight on Twitch. I have no idea what that means, but it's got a little graphic, so it must be good. Thank you. I'm not a very good streamer. I don't really understand most of the nomenclature. Script runner, I think, is a good example of some of the templated metaprogramming we've done, where you can. The whole point. So Lua scripts can return multiple arguments, right? So your function can. I have no idea what's going on. Oh, I see. Exciting. Do I get those points, or are they just lost into the ether? Is it just a dev null for points? So yeah, the idea is that a Lua script can return more than one argument. So you would have to manually go through and pop each of those off the Lua stack and then return them, which is fine. But I don't want to do that every time. What I want to be able to say is, hey, if I don't want any return arguments, then this function should return a void. If I want one argument, then this function should return that type. And if I want more than one argument, it should return a tuple of those types altogether. So this is what this kind of templating does here. A bit of context explorer, a bit of auto return types, a bit of variant templates, and basically, yeah, if we say, hey, this Lua script we want returns an int and a string and a vector or whatever, then it will automatically bundle that up and we'll get exactly the return type we want. So that's, I think stuff like that kind of makes the code a little bit nicer. And if you want to look at any of that, a lot of that's already part of like the open source subset that I've already got. So, okay, cool. There's a little bit of a detour there. So I think we've got most of the components we need to now do this. So I think we want the full file name. Stick that in there. So let's do writer.write file name dot was that already a string? I thought it was a path. Okay, file name and then shader file dot as string. I don't know what it's complaining about that for. See what happens. See if it blends. Templates are a tool. Okay, like C++, like all this, they're just tools for solving problems, and there are better tools and worse tools for solving problems. And I find templates quite a good tool for solving those problems, but they're also a bad tool for solving certain types of problems as well, even though it is kind of tempting. File is not a member of game. Have I just not included it? The code that's on GitHub is much better quality than this. The files are organized better. There's more tests. It's documented. It's kind of a good way to follow along and get an idea of some of the stuff we've done. Okay. Oh, wasn't there a bug as well? that I think we might take the time to fix now. We have to do this out.write, but I wanted to use the file primitive and map it, because I think it'll be faster, because this is really slow in WSL. The law is all this that you see now. This is part of this. I consider every stream canon as part of the game, so it's all just ranges and templates. Marshall, hello. Yes, I'm using WSL, and within that I'm using MSVC wine. Okay, so resource. Ooh. It's so long since I've done this, I don't think I actually have this in my history anymore. There you go. Tools, resource packer.exe, assets, resources. Let's log as well that we're writing a shader, so we can see that what goes in. Packing, I guess. Packing. File name. The logging is questionable template metaprogramming. I think the most advanced we've done is, I just think about it now actually, I think the most advanced templating we've done is probably the custom formatter, because this uses quite a lot of tricks. This uses a templated specialization of the formatter for stood formats, and then it uses CPOs to automatically find and discover without ADL two-string methods, either as members or as free functions, which accept the type you're trying to format, which worked out quite nicely. It's not a lot of code, but it's a little bit more complex than some of the other stuff we've written. Indeed, there is no mining off camera. Is there any particular reason for that? Windows is my main driver, but I prefer a Linux dev environment, so that's kind of why. Let's see if this. Okay. Quite big. That's why we need to compress it, because this is raw RGB triplet image data. There is no compression. They're not embedded as pings. They're embedded as raw binary data. That's why we need to do a layer of compression afterwards. It's raw data, raw pixels, which might take ages to write, but I think that's a WSL issue. It shouldn't take this long to write file. But anyway, as that's slow churning away. Indeed. Let's see if we can gut the game now to load the shaders from this. I don't think we need it in the resource cache, because we put the materials in there. These just need to come from this. How do I do this? How does texture do it? I give it a reader. Find diff, yes. This is a nice thing, because I constructed the TLV with an iterator. We can use ranges on it, so that makes it super nice to find stuff. So we should be able to do something like const auto simple vert file equals reader sorry, stirred ranges, find if reader this down here so we can see. Oh, reader const auto e, which will be the TLV entry. Return e dot is text file. Simple dot vert. Okay. And then just do ensure simple vert file doesn't equal stirred ranges end reader could not find shader. Okay. What does he not like about that? What have I done? Oh, missed the semicolon. Schoolboy error. Source file is not valid UTF-8. What are you chatting about? What have I done wrong? Why is it not like that? Or is it just, is ClangD just having a, ClangD's crashed, that's why. The UI will just use DRM GUI. We've already got it integrated, I'm just not using it at the moment. Yep, we're using OpenGL. Yeah, you can see at the bottom here, ClangD. I don't know how do I restart? It's like Mason log? Or is it LSP restart? Trying to get AST for non-added document. I was doing something earlier and I crashed ClangD as well, so it's obviously a problem. Let me just update it. It's going to update my tooling live. H vim dot. That's just the manual for it, isn't it? I'm going to plow on as if nothing has happened because progress must be made. I will not let ClangD interfere with me making progress. The compiler is the ultimate source of truth. So we now change simple vert file to barrel frag file. And then this will be, I know I've not updated the name yet, I'll do that in a minute. I just want to just check board frag file. And this is barrel.frag, and I believe checkerboard.frag. Oh, it's here. Okay. This should be simple file vert dot data. think. Yeah, let's do Windows Update midstream. What's more than... Come on. You're right, it's not. I need the old... Also, because the star operator works on the furthest right chained dot thing, you have to turn the first part into an expression in order to get access to it, which is grand. I know I didn't do them all, I just wanted to see if I fix 141. Why are you not liking that? Oh, hang on. I just realised what I've done. Just auto simple vert file equals simple vert file entry dot as. Nope. File data view. And then this just becomes this. I think I'll have to kill Vim in a minute because it's perhaps let's just do that now. It is annoying me. Alright. Game. Simple right. Use of undeclared simple vert file. Right, now back. Entry. Now I've got to do the dereference dance. Text file view. Text file view. Nailed it. Okay. Quick further refactor. Entry. I feel like this could possibly be a function in itself, just because this is a little bit tedious now. So let's do auto get file game TLV reader std string view name. So this would then have name, and if it is name, then ensure game, and then return. I do think actually I could. I think this might be able to be non-owning views, right? Although we do return values everywhere else. Anyway, no, getting ahead of myself. Getting distracted. Okay, so should be able to get file now. Okay, I need that in more than one place, aren't we? I wonder if there's a better place to put it. TBC. Okay, so now, finally, this just becomes get file reader simple dot vert. Pretty sure it's a function. What's it not liking? Oh, it's going to be const. Nailed it. And then we've got barrel frag file equals barrel.frag. And then we've got checkerboard frag file is checkerboard.frag. Okay, that work. Yes. That error message. Did not find shader. As we've spent all this time doing custom formatters and everything, we might as well use it. I think optimization is so hard because so much goes on that you are unaware of. Like, your compiler does loads of stuff, your hardware does loads of stuff, has branch prediction and microcode optimizations under the hood. The adage that about premature optimization is probably more true now than it's ever been. The only thing you really should do is write the code, make it work, make it readable and maintainable, and then if speed or latency or throughput is not enough to meet your business requirements, then profile and then selectively optimize. Files you can use a whole host of ways. Your platform will have platform-specific ones. There'll be open file and read file on Windows, or open and read on Linux. There's I use mapped files on this, so that's mmap on Linux, or on Windows it's map viewer file. You can use fstreams. I'm sure there's you can use the C file construct. There's loads of ways of doing it. Yeah, hopefully that's helpful. Yes, it's true. The real friends are the custom formatters we make along the way. Okay. So we've got a resource file. Where did it stick it there? Resources. So we need to move 20. Oh, tasty. Quarter of a gig in resources. Wait, I don't know what I'm going to do when I decompress it, because I'm going to have to decompress the whole TLV in memory at once. I mean, memory's cheap, right? I just feel like my game using up like 260 meg of memory just to load some resources, and then probably holding on to that till the end of the game. A future problem. Let's just get it working first. It's hot. I don't have the fan today. Kids stole it. Okay, so I think I need to copy resources into the assets, because that's where it currently needs to be to pick up the additional files that are not in the thing, but this will go away soon. So let's just see if this runs. It's true. I just feel like being a good citizen, and I don't really want to write a load of stuff to the file. Like, I'm really keen that. Oh, nice! It all still works. I'm super keen that I'm really striving for just a self-contained single binary. It doesn't crap a load of files into your file system. It doesn't make a load of changes to the registry or whatever. It's literally just the game. You double-click it and run, and then you delete it when it's gone. That's what I'm striving for. So that might mean the concession of that might just mean we have to just wang a load of stuff into memory. rather than effectively paging out to disk. Yeah, still works. Yeah, I think there's loads of optimizations we could do. We could selectively compress as well. So we can just scan through the file and decompress chunks that we need. Okay, I feel like that's a commenting point. So let's move it. So add file data to TLV. And then pack shaders into resource, and then commit load shaders from TLV. So we'll leave that there because I'm not sure I need that yet. Okay, so the final piece of the puzzle, and then I think, can we just get rid of, like, I'm going to keep resource loader because eventually that will become, I think, an interface which says like load it from the disk or load it from like a Windows resource or whatever. So I think we will still need that as kind of like the way of getting the original TLV, and it'll only be used here and we'll stop passing it around. Okay, so the next thing to do, I think this is actually now quite simple because it's just to embed the Lua stuff. So if ext equals .lua, then back in the, but we probably could have, we don't need shader extensions, we just need file extensions that we want, extensions that we want to load the whole thing for. Okay. And then we don't at this point. We don't care. We are sort of ambivalent to what it's actually, to the contents of the file. Yes, if you're inheriting from std runtime error, which you should do, we don't because there's a bug in WSL which I've yet to dig into, but I also provide a what method. That's kind of the canonical one, is that exception. What? People ask me for books and recommendations all the time. I don't really read a lot of technical books, so it's hard for me to sort of give exact advice, but from other people who I respect who have read books, I think Bjarne Stroustrup's Tour of C++, or Tour of Modern C++, the latest and greatest revision, is a pretty good introduction up to C++ 20. So I'd probably recommend that. Let's pack some resources. Okay, we're getting our levels in there. The level as well might need to have the concept of a name. I'm undecided yet. But anyway, so let's go game. So into the Lua level, we need to replace this. So Lua level, we need to get rid of the, ooh, already included TLV reader. Why have I already? Why did I use that? Oh, to get some of the images out. That's fine. So all I need to do is just drop the loader. Because then this just becomes this should where should this live? This is just, am I just going to dump this? If I just got like a general utils, I can dump this in. Do not. I'm gonna commit a small war crime. And copy that in here until I find a better home for it. And then this just becomes script get file script name dot data. Reader. Okay, I think. And then go back to game, and then wherever we call Lua level, we're going to want to get rid of the resource loader. Yeah, I like the idea. Yeah, my exception method is you what made. Okay. So now we should be totally self-contained and be decoupled from the assets directory, which means I should finally fix this as well, because I've got a typo here where this is this should be resources. Okay, which means now I should be able to just point the game at the current directory and it should run. In fact, we could let's go back up to main, right? And let's do const auto root equals argc equals 2 std string argv else dot. So if we don't give it a path, we just assume it's local, which means that you can literally just run the game. I'm glad all these like mistyped commands are in my history now, waiting for me to control R and find them. I think if that's the most annoying thing you've ever heard, then your life's probably not too bad. So we should be able to do source game XC now and just run it. It should just work. Okay, that has not worked. What's it trying to do with resource? Let's go to some code that I think I can. What's the renderer? What's the renderer loading? How do you know what people in Pompeii sound like? Well, I'm not going to copy that function for a third time, so I will Yes, I'm aware. I was being facetious. Probably better than houses in Pompeii. Okay, I'm gonna have to shove that file, that helper function somewhere. Where does it live? Where does it make sense? It feels like it's a helper for the TLV. So let's do e source TLV utils dot h pragma once namespace game game to bring that over here, make it inline, draw all the runes in the sand. I can get rid of not that one. Okay. We're missing some includes now, so hash include TLV reader, hash include string view, hash include ranges, hash include error. I think that's what I need. Should come along to Discord. We're pretty helpful. We can help. We're happy to help people on their learning journey. What am I doing with my life? Okay, so now, okay, fine. Okay, I get it. Why is there a space here? Stick another little include in there. And then to Lua level. I don't understand the MX system either. I know that red is acceptable to have in an office, and whatever I have is not acceptable. But these aren't cherry keys; they are whatever Razor's custom ones are. So these are, I got Razor purples. I've just ordered a keyboard for work that has cherry MX reds in. No, my wife has the green ones. I have the purple ones. I got her a new keyboard, and it was really like super loud and clacky, and I was super jealous. So then I had to go and get one. I just wanted to. I've just got a 60% one. Oh, I see. Because they do have a green key, so I thought that's what you were chatting about. I don't know. It's too hot. Get rid of this. And now finally, go to the renderer. TLV utils. I bet it's not finally, because I bet I'm going to have to pass in the. So this is no longer going to need the resource loader, right? Am I right? This is going to need the. This is going to need a TLV reader. TLV reader. This becomes const TLV reader. Reader. Okay, let's go renderer. Let's go here. Let's bring this in. Actually include TLV reader. S game resource loader. Resource loader with const game TLV reader. Ooh. Why is that? Reader. Get rid of that. Resource loader, CT hat becomes const. TLV reader. Resource reader. Okay. And then this becomes help, I'm stuck. CF that. This becomes get file reader. Here are all those, and then this finally becomes %s as string. Oh, hang on a minute. %s as data. What's going on? Could have actually just, rather than farting around trying to do it the fast way in Vim, I could have just done it the manual way and it would have been done by now. But here we go. All right, %s as string should become. Why is it not matching the? There you go. Data. Yes, my brain's not working today. But I'm still glad everyone decided to show up and keep me company, even though I might not be the most entertaining today. And then, of course, game. Just draw that code. Renderer needs to have the reader. Yeah, okay, fine. Maybe I'm entertaining, if not necessarily factually correct. Why is this so low? This should be upper. I'm missing out on my sweet Tmux toolbar. Okay, so now this will work. Nailed it. Whee! Add helper file to add helper function to read file from TLV. Load all files into resource pack. Load Lua levels from TLV. And the rest of this is just load all resources from TLV. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's the reason I use Tmux is so that I can easily move between a terminal and Vim. I guess that and just without taking my hands off the keyboard. Also, it's super useful if I'm doing something, I don't know, slightly more complex or something at work, and like, oh, I need to connect into a box or whatever. I can just like create a new terminal, SSH into something, come back. I can split the terminals, so then I can have like side-by-side terminals. It's easy for like grepping stuff. This is probably not the best demonstration of its power because I'm just using 2 views, but my one at work has easily like at any time like 7 or 8 of these open on different projects, different Vim instances, SSH into boxes, that kind of thing. It basically just allows me to have a full screen terminal, but easily multitask within that. Yes, I'm definitely just trying to code today. Okay, right, so exciting. Yes, they were all invented quite a while ago, before we knew any better, and now we're stuck with them. But they're always normally invented by like quite clever people as well, so they're normally quite clever. Right, okay, I want to cpack this now, so I should be able to do cpack dot and then dtrx that. So how does one do this? How do I cpack a specific file? Do I need to create a target for it? I think this is probably going to be the last part of this stream, is I want to try and get this tidied up so that this all gets packaged together. Well, I still need to link it all up so it builds, but I need to copying files. I need to install it. So install directory. Project binary dir. That's just applied. Oh, I don't think it's gonna be easy. Oh, there's files. Okay, fine. So files, directory resources, destination, bin. I wonder if that's just enough to do that. And then we just need to make sure that it gets run before that. I wasn't sure about it anyway, so the typo is irrelevant. Yes, you can detach a session and come back later to it as long as the box hasn't been rebooted. So that's super useful as well. If I just got like loads of zip files in here now. Okay. I mean, that was pretty easy. Can't argue with that. It's all in there. So I should be able to do cd into the release and then just run gamexe. Nice. Okay, I like that. Why Oh, I've been stupid. Whoa, 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 hold your horses. We are not out of the woods yet. Because if I clean build this, this will not be built. So we need to add a custom command and get it to run before we build the game. And make sure it builds the resource packer first. I think, Harand, correct if I'm wrong, but I think that's what I want, right? I want a custom target, custom something or other, something custom that before it builds this target, builds the resource file and make sure it goes here. See, oh, okay. CPAC has a script thing that you can run pre-packing. Or we might have. The output is a single file. Yes, it is a single file. It's just the resources file. What's this CPAC script thing? What am I looking for here? I can't seem to find anything. Post build scripts and pre-built scripts. Okay, and can I have? Actually, I'm exploring both avenues here at the same time. Can I have the command be something I've built and ensure that it is built before I run it? Can the command itself be a target? List of CMake scripts to execute after CPAC has produced the resultant packages. Hang on, I think actually I might be able to just do this with CPAC. Okay, cool. Is there any example of anyone using this? Indeed. Some idiot. I'll have to ask the Oracle. How use CPAC post-built scripts? Oh, there's CMake files. I feel like I'm going to go with Haran's way because that feels more canonical to me. So let's give that a go. So where's that going to be? That's going to be in the resource packer CMake, right? So after I built this, I want to do add, look up the docs for this. Add custom command. Output resources. Command is going to be. So how do I invoke this? Do I just do it as a string? I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not a CMake expert. I'm figuring this out. Does it want to be? So see if I can get this working first, and then we can move it later, because I think I still need to add this anyway. So the output needs to be a relative file path. That's fine. I want it to create resources in the build directory. No, feel free to send me some example code and I will have a look. I could also ask the Oracle. Okay. So we've got what was my other CMake project binary dir? Resources. And then command, I want to do this executable here. So do I just do resource packer and then pass to it project source dir assets? And then is it add dependencies on something? Resource packer is the executable which produces the TLV. Like it's kind of like it's a tool. It's an offline tool, effectively. Actually, that's a good point. I think we can be more specific with this. I think we can be project binary dir tools resource packer .exe. Okay, but I mean, all I want to do, when does this run? I want to make sure that this runs when I build the game. So in fact, actually, it might not need to be in here. I think that's a good point. I do think it needs to be in here. Okay, yeah, okay, fine. So add custom target resources. And then does this depends on project binary dir resources, and then I should be able to do add dependencies resources sorry, game resources, and then in fact this goes up here, and then this so resources depends on this output file, but this depends on the resource packer because you can't build it till the packer's been built, and then this game relies on this file which we'll use to build this, which we'll use this custom command to build, which relies on the resource packer. Is that right? I think we just have to blow it all away and hope for the best. But the problem is, though, is I need it to depend on the contents of the assets directory. Right? So if anything in here changes, I don't know how easy that is to do, but like let's just get, I can always reconfigure the project and rebuild it. I'm not too fussed about that. Right. We are going to have to watch all this rebuild, though, I'm afraid. Thank you, ET. Kind words. Yeah, and then like, how's it going to know? Can you add dependencies on the contents of a directory? That's a good point. Okay. So where's that go? In here. Like that. Verbatim. Does that give me everything in a directory? I'm just going to see if we can get it working first. Just more targets. Well, that's... Oh, where am I? Right. There we go. Right, now we're cooking. I hope everyone's prepared just to watch build output now for like the next, I don't know, rest of the stream. Yeah, but then we can figure it out. I don't think we were going to be doing it so much that it's going to be a problem for now. We can always fix it in the future. I'm just trying to make some progress now because I kind of, again, this is all part of us getting to the point where we can package everything up and start distributing it. Watch out for those fires. We're still fighting CMake. Well, we're looking for those sys types at the moment. Got to check we got them. Got Student. One of my favourites. The Def. Strong contender for spot number 2. Yeah, it's pretty slow. Right, okay. All this just to have to build all this code just to get that barrel in there. I need a third target based on the glob of all the files in that directory. Is that what we're thinking? Yeah, that's some old school asserting that to get the string in there. I guess it doesn't really matter, like post or pre-build. The resource packer is as long as this is done by the time I want to run the game or package it up. Add a command in the assets directory. That depends on target. Yeah, okay, that could be possible, yeah. All things are possible. Let's just see if we can get this building first. Because then we need to look at compression. And I think once that's done, start looking to get into the, into the hands of the people. Works on my machine. And then future misery. I've got some ideas. Some sort of particular indulgence. Yes, there's 50 ways of doing it, and they're all wrong. Okay, interesting. Resources. So generating resources. So it's running. Oh, interesting. It's resource packer slash. Can I get the full path, the full build path of a target without having to guess? get full build path of target. Ah, yeah. Oh, I hate generator expressions. Oh, but it will work on it. Okay, fine. So I want here, this should be target file resource packer. We might need to modify resource packer so that we can specify the output directory, because I suspect this might not be quite where we want it to be. Okay, okay. Projects, game. Assets not found. I don't. I do give it an out path. Interesting. Okay, so this was never going to. Why is. I'm confused. Yep, the streams are up on the YouTube channel. They go up straight away afterwards. What is not? No, it's trying to find this as a full path. If I miss, I never quite remember what needs to be stringerized and what. Yeah, I think it should be 2. In fact, I might not even. I am very loose on my understanding of what CMake requires to be a string and what it doesn't. Sometimes it's cool with it, sometimes it's not. This should fail because I've not given it. Yes, okay, fine. I've not given it the output path, which is fine because this is what I wanted. So now I can give it project binary dir resources. Yeah, we'll get it done. We'll get it done. We'll ship it. We'll be C building, C testing, C packing, a whole lot. No need for horrific custom make files here until we need them. Okay, it's generating it. This takes a while as well, so we've got to wait for this. Do you not get any? Does it not give you the std output of this? Is there like a flag I can pass to add custom command show std out? I feel like I should be getting some output from this. Ask the Oracle. Add custom command show command std out. Oops. Great, some great CMake puns coming out. I'm really enjoying it. You can use the command and -e echo utilities in CMake. Oh, there it is. It just captures it all and then dumps it out at the end. Fine. I did. That's this. That's this. I just wanted this as it was doing it in real time. Okay, so we've built our game. We've built the resources. So I should now just be able to do. Well, I should be able to do ctest dot, right? Run the test. This is also horrifically slow in WSL. And then pretty sweet. And then cpack dot. It shouldn't be too slow because it's all within the VDI itself. These are all paths, not VDI. These are all paths within WSL itself. I'm not going outside of the Linux system. I mean, I normally just run the gtest executable manually and it's fine. So again, I'm not too fussed about this because I would normally just run through gtest because you get better filtering anyway. And then I should be able to do DTRX. Rename that. And then push the game in 64. And then run game.exe. Nice. I think that's actually a surprisingly nice result for that. Like, we can literally, with 3 CMake commands, build, test, and package the whole thing. And that's pretty good. It wasn't too much manual fapping either. Yeah, Danny, see made, see done. We made it. Build resources as part. Pack resources as part of build. A lot of commits today. I'm probably not going to start compression or decompression today in the 10 minutes. However, I will hang around for a few more minutes. Stream numbers have just picked up, which is great. Just in time for me to think about wrapping this up. 56. 56. Exactly. So we will compress that and then decompress it in the game. There we go. Probably just all in memory to start with. And then I think we need to just do, there's just a little bit of integration I want to do my end into like sticking it somewhere and alerting the Discord. And then I had a look, you cannot, which is a little bit annoying, auto increment. There's no CMake way to auto increment this. So that might be a make file with sed and awk to be like, okay, make stream release, increment that number, check it in, tag it, do a fresh build, fresh test, fresh package, push it to somewhere, alert Discord, people have a go. That's kind of my thinking. And then, but we also need to modify the logging because it's going to also need to log to a file as well. So there's quite a lot. There's a lot of little bitty things to do, but I think it's worth doing because we really need to get some other people testing this. And then after that, it's just level design really. And then I'd like to have it so that people can write their own levels and have those loaded as well without having to package up the resources and everything. So it'd be pretty cool if you just, what I envision is you get your zip, you decompress it, and then you get this, and then the game will also automatically check if it's got additional Lua files in here, and then load those as well. So you can just drop your own Lua files in here to play those in addition to what else is going on. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. I think that should just always be in there. People should always be able to write that. And we could ship it with a template Lua file that you can just start writing with, maybe. Yeah, like splash window and then text rendering and then audio and menus. And there's this, like I said, we're probably only about halfway through. I manage dependencies via fetch content. So I just check them all out. I check out the repositories at specific commits that I want, and then if they have a CMake file, CMake automatically consumes those, produces the targets, etc., etc. And then you end up with, in the build directory, you end up with this underscore deps directory, which just has all this stuff in. But because the build directory is git ignored, no one ever has to see it. So that's your Bluetooth. Hey, we're literally just about to stop, but I'm glad you're here. Okay, so before we end, I've been thinking about what I want my next. Yes, apologies. Self-indulgent C++ stunt C++ to be. So hear me out. Okay. Hear me out. We need a game loop. We kind of got one, but it's just a for loop, so there's no concept of like timings, fixed timings, delayed, whatever. Probably want some sort of scheduler. Coroutines? Coroutine game loop? Then everything can just co-await itself on the scheduler and like defer itself to the future and wait for other tasks. I mean, it'd be a pain to debug. It's gonna be really good fun to write though. So, because all it is, all coroutines are just state machines, right? And we would probably want some sort of state machine anyway, especially if you wanted to like, hey, can you run this every 100 milliseconds? Or can you run this one task in 200 milliseconds time? Or can you run these 5 tasks and then resume me once those are done? That'd be C++20 coroutines. I'm not a madman. Yeah, I reckon you can get all that. I reckon you can get all that. it's true. It's true. Anyway, what I think we'll finish the packaging up and getting it all done so we can build stuff and get it out. And then I think I'm just going to burn a stream or two on just seeing how feasible it is and what because I've got in my head what the interface should be, and I think it would work out quite nice. Well, the whole point is it kind of alleviates you from having to use callbacks because you suspend the execution of a function until such time as it is ready to continue again, which might be the next frame, it might be in 10 frames time, it might be in 100 milliseconds time, it might be when some IO has completed, it might be when some networking data comes in. The whole point is that you get to choose when your coroutine is resumed. Yeah, well, I think we can get all that. I think we can get all that. Yeah, you gotta have at least a 5000 series graphics card to run this game. Anyway, I think it'd be fun to burn a few streams and just have a play around with it because it's a bit self-indulgent, but I really like C++ coroutines, and people keep asking me to do some stuff on them live. So sure, let's write a game loop in it and see. I'm sure we'll get a lot of tests out of it. Okay, I'm hot. I need to leave this room, although immediately come back and probably play Factorio for an hour or so. I'll be hanging around on Discord for a bit. Thank you very much for coming along. Sunday, we will finish off the resource packing. If we can get it all done in one stream, then Wednesday, we can maybe look at some coroutines, or it'll be the following Sunday. Who knows? It's all up in the air. Thank you for coming along. I've had a great time. I hope you had too, and I will catch you all anon.